yeah, just to blow the stress away. Light up another one, cause I can still feel the pain. If you don't hit this marijuana on every hour, then you probably can't fuck with me. See, that's not a diss or a boast, I just know that my consumption of this marijuana is much higher than most. Been smoking since the age of 10, yeah, I'm probably responsible for getting your friend high for the first time. See them come alive, open their mind to things they never seen before. Oh yes, outside the box can be quite a thing, yeah, especially when you got the marijuana to help you with your dreams.
Smoke my stress away. Life is never easy as it stands. Reminisce about those good old days. My homie, you're the first to break my G code.
Welcome back to another episode of Swamp Stories. For this episode, we cover a random place that you've never heard of. But before we get into it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new. You can also follow the Instagram page as well. So let's get into it. Fresno, California. Definitely one of the strangest places you can ever go to. But in order for that to make sense, let me set the context. California is really 4 separate states. First, you have the top of California, which consists of Humboldt County, Mendocino, and a bunch of random places. All of that is pretty much Southern Oregon anyways. Then you have Northern California, which is the Bay Area, Sacramento, and all the way up to Lake Tahoe. And of course you have Southern California, which includes LA and San Diego. But in between Northern and Southern California, you have what's known as the Central Valley. It pretty much starts at Stockton and goes all the way down to Bakersfield. You might be thinking, okay, what's strange about that? So let me do my best to take you on a road trip from the Bay Area down to LA. As soon as you leave the Bay Area circle, you end up in Modesto, California.
Oh shit, I just realized I was muted. Okay, so we're gonna react to this video. I'm from Fresno, California. I was raised there from, was it 2000 I would say, 2001, 99, and I was there till 2011. And then I went back 2016 for, it was like 8 months. So I'm from there. I know a lot of things. I've interacted with a lot of different people there. Had classmates that were in gangs. You know, you can't help but associate with them. But in the same instance, my older sister was in the gangs. I never really got too involved. You know, I ran with my friends, and some of them would be in gangs and things would happen, and you know, saw a lot of things. But I saw this video post up on Facebook. Somebody posted it, and I just thought it was really interesting because he goes on the perspective of Bulldogs, which Bulldogs are huge in Fresno. One of the biggest gangs. There's a lot of gangs, but Bulldogs, yeah. I got a lot of bad things that have happened, but I've had some good things happen from people that I've known that are Bulldogs. So I don't really have a either way bias about them. They're people, you know, just like anybody else. Anybody that's in a gang or does whatever in life, you know, they're people. They just make the choices, and man, it's definitely a different lifestyle.
Also follow the Instagram page as well.
Let's
You
get
have
into this.
Northern California, which is the Bay Area, Sacramento, and all the way up to
You guys already watched all
and
that.
of course you have Southern California.
This
which
is true,
includes
though.
LA and San Diego. But in between Northern and Southern California, you have what's known as the Central Valley. It pretty much starts at Stockton and goes all the way
He
down to
spells that wrong
Bakersfield.
for some
You might
reason.
be
I
thinking,
don't know if he did it
okay,
on purpose
what's
or
strange
what.
about that? So let me do my best to take you on a road trip from the Bay Area down to LA. As soon as you leave the Bay Area circle, you end up in Modesto, California. So you pull over to get gas, and here is what you see. Outside of the food mart is a tweaker on a stolen bike. He's covered in face tats, and he's holding a 150-pound pit bull. Then you look to your right, and right there is a fool with a red bandana, extra large True Religion shorts, and a pair of DC skate shoes.
I'm all about the True
Instantly,
Religion.
You feel like you're in an
I don't know
alternate universe.
why he
You want to
mentions
escape
that.
as quickly as you can. So you stop pumping your gas right away, and you leave with a half tank. You head down Highway 99 and you end up in Merced, California.
I'm gonna
You
put the
think,
link in
it's
chat.
a college town. Finally, I'm back in my comfort zone. So you pull up to another gas station, and boom. Right there is the same tatted up tweaker with his pit bull. Then you look over to your right and the guy with the red bandana is standing right there as well. At this point, you question everything you've ever thought about California. First of all, why is it 96 degrees in February?
It won't let me
Second
paste.
of all, why does it smell like cow poop outside?
Oh, there it
and
goes.
lastly, what happened to the Teslas, BMWs, Whole Foods, and vegan restaurants? So you look at Google Maps and finally you see a big city coming up on the map. Fresno, California. You're back in regular civilization, right? No, because as soon as you enter the city, you see everything you saw in Modesto, except this place has 600,000 people. That's bigger than Oakland, Sacramento, and
Yep.
Long Beach. Except that no one ever thinks about, talks about, or ever
I think it was like
considers moving to
400,000
Fresno.
when I was
know
there.
I've made fun of San Bernardino and Stockton plenty of times, but Fresno may have taken their spot. So congratulations to San Bernardino. You finally accomplished something in life.
I've never seen any
the
of
reason
his
Fresno
other
grew
videos.
So large is because of its great agriculture, and the city's entire economy depends on the fertility of the land. In good rain years, Fresno's economy will be booming, but during the droughts, everything comes crashing down. And because of this, Fresno has always been a tough blue-collar
Fresno is a really big hub for drugs, weed, meth, just anything, heroin, everything. And so when there's a drought, because a lot of agriculture, like he's saying, but also drugs are grown there in secret, of course, illegally. Everybody feels it, especially during the summer months. Yeah, summer months are crazy. You'll hear killings or shootings or drive-bys every night on the news. You'll hear gunshots all the time. No matter where you live in Fresno, unless you're on the, what is it? I think it's the north side. I'll have to look that up real quick. Hold on.
And when the economy is bad, many residents begin to make money in other ways. And we
Yeah,
all
yeah,
know
yeah.
what this leads
No.
to. Constant battles over markets and territory. And this is no
Dang it.
exception, with all kinds of rivalries throughout the city. Fresno is the real deal. But before we get into it, let me run the intro.
I'm gonna look it up on my phone real quick. I mean, Northside's not bad. That's where I used to live when when I was growing up by Central High School. But as you get into the other parts,
video to make sense, let's head all the way back to the start. 1968.
I lived downtown for a while. Last time I was there.
California. So for those of you who don't know, this all started in prison. In most facilities, it's split between Northern and Southern California inmates. So back in the day, if you were from anything above Bakersfield, you were Norte. And on the other hand, if you were from anything below, you were SA. So by default, Fresno became a red city. But that's only because of geography, not because they really cared about the Northern California unity. But that makes sense, because in all honesty, they're more in the middle of the state than anything. But none of that mattered, because in the 1970s, more and more Southsiders began moving to Fresno. So in typical California fashion, red and blue became the theme of the 70s. And as a result, Fresno became possibly the most active city.
Well, the west side is really bad.
Northern California cities were not
I stayed on the northwest.
So after a while, Fresno felt like they were carrying too much of a load. And on
Trying
top
to
of
see.
this, they were being overlooked compared to Sacramento and the Bay Area. And here's the thing, Fresno was already iffy about being part of
Yeah,
the
so it is
in
the
first
north
place.
that's the
And on
nice
top
side
of
of town,
this,
because
we
that's
know how
Clovis.
structured these groups are. You either follow the
So a lot of cities that I've lived in, like where I'm at in Tucson, it's split into, what is it, Sadoita, and then there's Green Valley up north, and it's Tucson. But it's all essentially one city, you know. Fresno is like two cities. It's Clovis and it's Fresno. And Clovis is like the northwest side. Okay, I was on the northeast side. Wait, no, I was on the northwest side. Clovis on the northeast side. That's right. Okay, and then the east side, as you go like way out there, like Tarpe, Las Palomas, or Palmas. I don't remember that. Mayfair, McLean. Yeah, so west side is crazy. South is where the city is, central, right? Yeah, south is like Calawa. Calawa's a bad area. But yeah, let's. My bad.
the orders from the top dogs, or you're next on their list. And Fresno was tired of taking orders from people who were not affected by the rivalry. And that takes us to the Valley State Correctional Facility. During the early 1980s, Fresno slowly started disassociating from the Nortes. And it started as simple as this. They only started hanging out with each other. And
I gotta pull something up real quick. I don't know why my feed keeps doing this. Alright. There we go.
They started calling themselves by a different name, F14, to represent Fresno first and then the 14, which represents Norte. Well, the top dogs were not pleased with Fresno distinguishing themselves, and they, after all, call all the shots. So they demand that Fresno stop referring to themselves as a separate group. Well, the Fresno guys did not care one bit, and by 1982, a new rivalry was officially on, F14 versus Nortes. However, all of this took place within the system, from Pelican Bay, Solano, Folsom, Soledad, and most importantly, Chowchilla. This rivalry was called the Red Wave, and it was just as bad as you can possibly imagine. Well, by 1986, F14 had expanded outside the facilities and onto the streets of Fresno. But at this point, the rivalry with the North had gotten so bad that they wanted complete independence. So F14 renamed themselves as the Bulldogs. This is because of Fresno State's football team. They definitely rushed this choice because Fresno Bulldogs does not sound intimidating one bit. Like, let's be honest, if somebody walks up to you and is like, yo, I'm a Fresno Bulldog, you'll probably laugh in his face. Well, in reality, it's the other way around.
You will not.
These might be the most fearless dudes in California history. And trust me, you'll see why. The
They're
Bulldogs
crazy.
claim a lot of neighborhoods as their own, including Southside Fresno, Westside Fresno, Eastside Fresno, and everything east of Highway 41. They also claim a bunch of small tweaker town. They also claim a bunch
that's
of
just
small
all the
tweaker
bad
town
areas.
Fresno,
And I wouldn't say they claim them, but they definitely, on the east side, yeah, definitely. Bulldogs and Fresno are east side. Majority. Not to say that they're not in other areas and you can't see them or meet them or see them doing business. For sure.
Westside Fresno, Eastside Fresno, and everything east of Highway 41.
But again, I don't know about that either, because this is Clovis. That's a nice area. These parts right here. But there are ghetto, quote unquote, low income areas spread out everywhere because they split apart the gangs. This is back when I was there. And again, it might be different now. It's been about 5 years since I've been there. The last time I known, they were on the east side majority. South side for sure. West side here and there, yeah.
They also claim a bunch of small tweaker towns in Fresno County as well. This includes Coalinga, San Joaquin, and Orange Cove. Well, early on, the Bulldogs had a major issue. They were all covered in tattoos of their rivals. Most importantly, they all had the number 14 on their body. Well, somehow a member realized that B is the second letter and D is the fourth. So members began turning the 1 into a 2 on their body. So if you ever see a guy with a funky looking 1-2 tattoo, chances are he's an original Bulldog. Okay, you might be thinking, if the Bulldogs cover the vast majority of Fresno, do they really run into problems? So let me break it down. By 1986, the Bulldogs had a lot on their plate. Firstly from the Nortes, who mostly cover the downtown and West Fresno area. Then from the constant influx of essays coming up from Southern California. And one thing about them is that they're not afraid to move right into your neighborhood. And for that reason, the Bulldogs always had to watch their back. And things would only get worse in 1990 when a new group of guys would migrate into Fresno. And that takes us down to Long Beach, where ABZ and Tiny Rascals began getting into a big rivalry.
TRG, ABZ.
Many families moved out of Long Beach and up to
Asian
Fresno,
boys.
which I understand wanting to leave their environment, but why Fresno of all places? Like, Fresno? Ew. Anyways, so hundreds of TRG...
Okay, so Fresno is one of the internment camps hubs. I don't remember if it was an actual internment camp or if it was just a hub to the one by San Francisco. I can't remember what it was called. Manzanar. But yeah, so a lot of Asians, Filipinos, Pacific Islanders migrated to Fresno because it's right in the center, and they didn't want to stay on the coast where all the other majority of immigrants were. So a lot of them went to Fresno or got stuck in Fresno, and so their youth, many of them become TRG or ABZ. There's other couple Asian gangs here and there, but they're not really as big as ABZ, TRG for sure.
TRG began moving to Fresno, and of course, this caused problems with the Bulldogs. So TRG decided to join together with the Norte, and everything got messier. So between the Bulldogs, Norte, TRG, and essays, hundreds and hundreds of events have taken place. However, I couldn't possibly cover every single event that has taken place. So instead, I'm going to cover the most important events that have taken place. So let me introduce you to Jesse Aguilar, also known as Big Paya. He is possibly the most infamous Bulldog of all time. He is a big old chunky dude, and you do not want to get in his way. Big Aguilar, also known as Big Paya. He is place. So let me introduce you to Jesse Aguilar, also known as Big Paya. He is possibly the most infamous Bulldog of all time. He is a big old chunky dude, and you do not want to get in his way. Big Paya is the head of the Bulldog set from the Calwa neighborhood on the south side of Fresno. This is one of the most rundown and infamous neighborhoods in the whole city. Well, his right-hand man is Angel Vasquez,
I wouldn't say infamous
also known as Lil Paya. And oddly enough, their main rivals are also Bulldogs, located on Bond Street on the east side. And it all started on August 19th, 2013. Angel Vasquez leaves his apartment on West Swift Avenue. That's when he notices a Bond Street Bulldog right outside. This incident devastated Big Paya because Lil Paya was really his best friend and right-hand man. Well, after asking around, he finds out that it was ordered by a 58-year-old named Incident devastated Big Paya because Bulldog right outside. This incident devastated Big Paya because Lil Paya was really his best friend and right-hand man. Well, after asking around, he finds out that it was ordered by a 58-year-old named Fernando Zapata, also known as Big Zap. So Big Paya waits on his opportunity. And that takes us to New Year's Eve 2013. Big Paya decides to attend a New Year's Eve party at a friend named Emilio's house. And in typical Bulldog fashion, he brings 10 to 15 members with him. Well, Paya ends up having a great time and stays the whole night throughout the morning. And that's when he gets the news that Fernando Zapata will be swinging by to make a purchase from Emilio. So Big Paya gets ready. 12:38 p.m. Fernando pulls up to Emilio's gate. With him is his son, Fernando Zapata Jr. They park the van and walk down the driveway. As soon as they get to the garage, right there is a sleepless Big Paya. Bang! After the incident, no one would speak up for 2 months. But that's when a family member of Zapata would speak up and say that it was Big Paya who did it. So in March of 2014, he would go down and eventually get life. However, this would only make him more powerful within the Bulldogs. From his Salinas Valley cell, he began orchestrating everything, but that wouldn't take place for a few years. In the meantime, subsets of Bulldogs began taking sides with Big Paya's Kawa Bulldogs, one of which are the College Ave Bulldogs, who are one of the most notable in the city. They have a young rapper named Faye300, and during his hood vlogs, the comments are filled with people calling them
that's
phony
new.
and living in a nice neighborhood.
Never heard of them.
Honestly, from a visual perspective, they're not wrong, but in reality, it's far from the truth, and you'll see why later in the video. But in the meantime, we head to a different part of Fresno. We drive up Highway 41 and head to the Pinedale neighborhood. This is where the Northside Bulldogs are known to hang out. Well, in 2014, a new group began to form in the Northside area. A group of guys from a country called Laos. This is a small country located in between Vietnam and Thailand. And back in the day, it was known for some of the toughest men on the planet. Well, the Northside Bulldogs did not like them moving into their area, and this caused an instant rivalry. So a Pinedale Bulldog named Jeremy Chacon decided to do some research into where exactly they live. And once he found 3 of their houses, he decided to go on a mission. July 6, 2015. Jeremy drives to 60 West Beechwood Avenue. Bang. Then he drives to 300 West Pinedale. Bang. And finally he heads to 300 West Fur Drive. Bang. Chacon was sending a message to the Laos Bloods, but 2 days later it would cost him. His license plates were tracked from surveillance footage. Well, the Laos men did not leave Fresno. Instead, they got ready for action. Specifically a man named Kamprasong Tamavong. And I mean, look at the guy, wow. How much do you want to bet that he doesn't own a single Gucci item, nor has he been to a Gucci store? Well, let me chill out, because I don't want any problems with this guy. On March 7th, 2016, he was pulled over and arrested for having all kinds of things you can legally have in 48 states. But definitely not California, so he received a large sentence. And to this day, the Laos and Bulldog rivalry is still going on. But for now, let's head back down to the south side of Fresno. Over the next few years, the Bond Street versus Kawa rivalry got even worse. But all of this was being orchestrated from within the facility, specifically Big Paya. And that takes us to July 9th, 2021. A group of Kawa and
he skipped over a lot.
Get together and look for a 52-year-old named Javier Fernandez.
He skipped over like the whole war between the police and Bulldogs. When was that? That was like, shoot, 2008? There was a lot of shit going on. A lot.
They drive down to his address in the Malaga neighborhood, and there he is sitting outside his home. Bang! After this incident, Fresno police began wiretapping the Bulldogs and getting all of their evidence together. And on October 7th, 2021, they announced the Kawa sweep. 14 Bulldogs were officially arrested, one of which was Big Paya, who they say orchestrated the events on July 9th. So officially arrested. Be arrested, one of which was Big Paya, who they say orchestrated the events on July 9th. So now he's looking at another 85 years. And a few College Ave members who were seen in the Faye300 vlog went down as well. One specifically is his brother Romeo Tobias. Another one is seen in the vlog as well. So all that talk about imposters, leave it alone, because these guys were not lying about anything. And for those of you who think Fresno was a joke, think twice, because this is only half of what's going on. Another giant sweep happened on April 15th, but it's involving a whole different set of rivalries. So that's gonna do it for this episode of Swamp Stories. Make sure to leave.
That's interesting. Definitely skipped over a lot, but I think he's more focused on like current times and like the rivals and stuff, but he spent a lot of time just describing the history, and then jumped. I feel like somebody could do a more in-depth video that'd be a lot better than this. It's a good start though. It's good to go off of, definitely. So yeah, that's gonna be it for right now. I just wanted to do that, react to that video, do my input. I'll probably put this on the YouTube, my main channel. It's just Nevada, spelled the same way as this channel. So yeah, much love. Maybe I'll show y'all a new song I've been working on real quick. Much love, guys. I'll probably go live later on tonight, game, do some stuff. Not promising, but
Yo, the hero must have not listened to the words that the master had to say about the times that it doesn't go the way that it should have. Oh, look at that, the way that the sway like some snakes, just to get you to feel like you were brave. Dismay from all of the times that it doesn't go the right way. Positivity hard to find like a needle in a stack of needles. Oh, where'd it go? Looking for an indication that it will get better, yo. Olders popping up list of things he wouldn't trade for the experience and the people that he's met along the way. Countless lives changed for the good instead of walking away. Like, what could he really do? No, that question has never been brought up as one to ask. Cash, just another pose that should have come and goes. Like those feelings, been humble, never brag. For those times that he could have rubbed two pennies together, would have never rap for a damn thing. For those times that he was told no by his loved ones because they assumed the worst. Drama is what he wanted to bring, quite the opposite dream, only seen by the one that hardly ever gets any sleep. For the nightmares that come periodically, battle with the demons that try to give into the dark. Disembark for the notion of ever becoming a reality. Tattoos represent the light that gets him through when he can't see. The gods use him as an example on how to become the best you can be. Yo, the hero must have not listened to the words that the master had to say about the times that don't always go the way that they should have. Dismay found, but you always gotta be looking for the positivity. Yo, the hero must have not listened to the words that the master had to say about the times that don't always go the way that they should. Dismay found, but you always gotta be looking for the positivity. Yo, the hero must have not listened to the words that the master had to say about the times that don't always go the way that they should have. Dismay found, but you always gotta be looking for the positivity. Yo, the hero must have not listened to the words that the master had to say about the times that don't always go the way that they should. Dismay found, but you always gotta be looking for the positivity.